whole description, and it's funny because the story completely removes the Shangri-La element, except for the beautiful Pleasure Dome. It's an intimate musical now, and it takes place on a beautiful estate out in Seacliff, Long Island. At the time, yeah. Okay, so the story is 1999's La Mama presentation. We did a reading, part of their experiment series. I've been providing plays for them. Last year's was The Last Dodo. You might have saw that. Before that, there was Prepare to Meet Your Maker. There's also an adaptation of Coppelia. Well, this is the 1999 11th Hour, and it's a ghost story. And it's a very great pleasure to present it here because of the exceptional cast. In fact, that's the reason we're presenting it. Thanks to the wonderful cast. Cockroach and Toby Goodshank, Kimya Dawson, and Abby.
Ladies and gentlemen, some of the most talented people in this community are here to entertain you tonight with this reading of the 11th Hour. It's my pleasure to introduce the 11th Hour.
The first hour of the last day of the year. It is time to offer a tale with a touch of the inexplicable. Tonight's journey emanates from the vaults of Cinema 7's Lost and Found department. It tracks the history of isolation, of desolation, of love, and of joy, as discovered one summer by an adolescent boy named Mark. It so often behooves us to participate in a world of vanity and planned obsolescence. And some of us, young Mark, for instance, are fortunate to receive a transplant, a physical transplant from the world of cares and woes into a luxurious world, often indicative of money spent on real property many decades ago. Let's take this trip together and see how well we fare. So, sit back, relax, forget the time, and enter the world through the hidden portals of the 11th Hour.
When you look at yourself, do you like what you see? If you like what you see, you're the person you should be, 'cause your reflection reflects in everything you do, and everything you do reflects on you. When you wake up each day, do you like how you feel? If you like how you feel, you've got nothing to conceal, 'cause your reflection reflects in everything you do, and everything you do reflects on you. Doing something for someone else, saying for someone else, it does twice as much for you as something just for yourself. When you lay down to sleep, do you like all your dreams? If you like all your dreams, life's as happy as it seems, 'cause your reflection reflects in everything you do, and everything you do reflects on you.
Hey, Mom, I wish we could live in a big house overlooking the Sound.
Oh, we will. Watch the television while I speak with your Aunt Pamela.
All right.
Mark is such a sweetheart.
I wish more of his teachers thought so.
And why do you call me Listen, Sharon, you make me feel so old.
Pam, we're the same age. It's just that I started earlier than you. Now, help me figure something out. Here, please read the begging letter I sent my ex-husband last week.
Dear Joseph, I realize you received sobering news from the doctor. What's that all about?
He won't tell anyone. Read on.
And although I have no idea of its severity, I know that this must be a stressful time for you. Yet I wonder if you could find it in your heart to increase your allowance. It will greatly benefit my son. Mark, at 13, is impressionable, easily falling under the spell of local artists who exhibit in the gallery above us. Has there been a problem with landlords?
No, they're fine. It's probably nothing, but sometimes I think, you know, I know what they're thinking. Mark is a very handsome young man.
Yes, they're sure to notice it. Good heavens, that's probably a good thing.
I know, but I'm trying to get Joseph to send more money so that Mark can receive a better education.
I see. Concerned that he risks choosing an alternative lifestyle without first exploring other options, I believe he will do well to enter a Catholic school in Sequoia, not only because of the higher moral standards, but because the classes are smaller. If able to afford the tuition loan, please help me before it's too late. Good. That's a direct letter. It addresses your concerns.
This is his response. Dear Sharon, you wrote at a fortuitous time. Over the years, I have grown to realize how much of a son Mark is to me. Despite our disputes, I accept that he is not only my son in a manner of speaking, but is in fact my only son. You were never involved in extramarital affairs. You sought freedom from my restricted lifestyle. You used your pregnancy as a ruse to break us apart, when it should have been the bond that secured forever our sacred union.
Let me see that! Has he lost his senses?
That's what I wonder. Mark isn't his son. My pregnancy was the grounds for our divorce. How did he write that?
Do you think he wants to help?
That's how it seems. There's more.
During these years, the only reason I was able to leave you wretched was that pregnancy. Now I acknowledge the child is my own. However, I will not increase the strain on my life by seeing you. By the same token, I do not bear you residing in that two-room hovel underneath the art gallery in Great that people have the nerve to call living quarters. As I must be near my doctor's clinic in the Glen Cove, I offer you a Seacliff estate for your residence. Stay there this summer. Find the keys, as always, under the mat. Joseph.
Nothing has changed with that man.
How big is the estate?
It's a fortress, 6 bedrooms on land overlooking the Sound.
Mark needs a father figure. He's getting his
Look at this postscript. If you stay this summer, I will gladly pay for Mark's tuition in the fall.
Congratulations, Sharon. Is everything you wanted?
Mark will be delighted. Are you still between residences?
The owner is selling in 2 weeks.
You're always welcome at Seacliff. Mark, say goodbye to this dark and dismal basement. We're moving to where we can bask in the sunshine. I told you. It's where I used to live.
He left you the house?
He's letting us stay there for the summer. It's much better than here, and we can live there rent-free.
We definitely need a car now just to get around the place.
There's a cot on the grounds.
Yahoo! So much space.
We leave tonight.
Ever dreamed of a place far away from it all, where the air you breathe is soft and clean, and children play in fields of green, and the sound of guns doesn't pound in your ears. Have you ever dreamed of a place far away from it all, where the winter winds will never blow and living things have room to grow, and the sound of guns does
doesn't pound in your ears anymore. Many miles from yesterday before you reach tomorrow, where the time is always just today. There's a lost horizon waiting to be found. There's a lost horizon where the sound of guns doesn't pound in your ears anymore.
Mark explores the grounds of the estate, stopping to wrap his arms around the concrete columns that stand, uselessly majestic. They are the beams of some resplendent, ruined Parthenon built on a clearing the forest is reclaiming.
My own nature trail. Man, I'm doing great. Oh, hi, Mom. Wow, there's so much land.
We have 4 acres bordering a 6-acre cemetery.
Whoa, is that where the bodies are kept?
Yes, and it keeps us safe and secluded.
Well, we're so lucky to be here, away from the stray bullets of gang warfare out there in Great Neck. Fresh air, the wind, the breeze, room to grow for all living things.
Before the semester is over, I want you to visit the school you'll attend in the fall. I've already arranged things with Sister Mary, what's her name? She's expecting you.
I thought we were Jewish.
It's a good school.
Mark attends the last class before summer at the Catholic school. There, Sister Mary, what's her name, presents her lecture on the circular path everyone travels. Her slideshow on labyrinth leaves Mark's head spinning.
Remember, children, all I taught you. Nurture your spiritual life over the summer and come back prepared to share. Now follow me as we leave the classroom.
The sister leads her students outdoors. They dance in circles in the schoolyard in her direction. The male principal joins them to give a departing blessing.
Have a great summer. Go in peace. And whenever you are alone, remember, God is watching you. Wherever you go, let the Holy Spirit be your guide. Dismissed!
Mark enjoys apparent idleness, where a passing day feels like an eternity, as though time stands still, when it is, in fact, crawling slowly. One night, after a particularly lazy afternoon, he sits up late in the library within the estate.
It's quiet here. There's no traffic.
Go to bed. It's almost 11.
I'm old enough to stay up after 11.
Yeah, but I'm concerned you'll turn on the TV.
I won't. We don't have cable here anyway.
Turning on the TV without cable can be dangerous.
Oh, Mom. Do you think we'll be struck by lightning? It isn't even raining.
But it is humid and it happens. Remember, you have to be up early tomorrow for your first day at camp.
Sharon exits. Mark walks over to the television and turns it on. A burst of snow enters the room. He promptly turns it off.
I need something to knock me incoherent, the perfect state for sleeping. Oh, thank you. I just found it. Pride and Prejudice. I can think of no finer occupation of my time. Boy, this is a boring book. I can't understand any of it. There's so many pages. If God is watching me, he's really distracting. The crickets are silent. The The gardener must be using a powerful herbicide. I must speak with him about that. This is supposed to be the place where living things have room to grow. What's that? Parquet with something rising from it. The snow from the TV left a radioactive mist. It's a rather shapely mist. Hello?
Hello. What do I look like?
Like a sliver slithering between planks of wood.
That's not me at all. Something's wrong here. Who are you?
No time to explain. I've got to go to camp tomorrow.
Wait, don't be frightened. Help me. Would you like a match?
I don't know where to find one.
Look in the humidor. While you're there, help yourself to one of the cigars inside. Remember to poke a hole in the end.
I almost forgot. Forget.
Can you see me? How are you making through with that thing? Can you see me? Not yet. Can you?
No, are you a kid like me?
I'm not a kid.
How old are you?
13.
Well, so am I.
Who are you?
I'm just a kid. Who are you?
I'm a shroud.
Well, remove the shroud and let me see.
All right, nothing, right?
I don't even see the shroud anymore.
In my direction, please. Would you blow up the smoke from that fine cigar?
Okay. Now I see a musty pile of rags.
That's me. I'm a walking shroud hanger. I'm your neighbor. I live in that house down the driveway.
Is that where the ruined columns are?
Yes, they're the support beams.
You seem pretty young. Do you live with your parents?
They've been resting in peace since 1924. I'm here all alone. And so are you, aren't you?
My mother's upstairs.
Forget her.
I won't be able to when she comes down the stairs and finds me speaking with myself.
Not only to yourself, I hear you perfectly. Tell me what you want.
I don't know. I want to belong to a family. Do you miss your family?
They're always available to me. If you're good, then I'll introduce you to them. If you're really good, they might even stop me.
Come on. This type of encounter only happens in the imagination.
You're right. This is not a real opportunity I present you with. I just want to teach you a lesson in forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key. I forgive them what happened to me. Are you willing to do the same?
Who said anything about forgiveness? What do you have, resentment? You think I have resentment? I don't feel it, except maybe from my father.
Your resentment enhances my appearance.
You're already enhanced from the mist and the floor cracks. You are definitely a young boy like me.
Finally, I found a friend. Look, my hour is almost up.
Bedtime, Mark.
Oh, Mom, I just want to watch the news.
Don't joke with me, Mark. We have no cable and we're not going to get it either. Go to bed.
In a minute.
Go to bed.
In a minute.
Go to
In
bed.
a minute. We still have a few minutes. Why are we limited to an hour?
You don't have to be. If you welcome me, then soon I'll be a part of you.
Okay, but before you go, tell me who you are, where do you come from, and why are you telling me these things?
Are you really interested?
In general, I'm interested in everything.
There's a problem for my next lesson. Priorities and how to set them.
Tell me who you are.
I'm your number one priority. Who are you?
Never mind, I don't believe any of this.
Then I shouldn't even be here.
Eric vanishes.
What was that?
The next day at camp, Mark finds himself sleepy and withdrawn. Two weeks pass. Newly evicted, Pamela arrives at Seacliff. She walks down the driveway past the ruins of the old house to join Sharon in the gazebo.
Pam, I'm so glad you're here. I can't handle this place alone. You should stay.
Sharon, I just might take you up on that. I'm almost now looking for a place to call my own.
Well, you can put off the search for a couple of months and enjoy the summer with us. You need a break. And Joseph reinstated my membership at the beach club. It's 13 years since I've been there. I wonder if George is still the busboy.
What's the matter with your ex?
I I don't know. He's got very bad news from the doctor, so he's staying close to the clinic. Why are we talking about him when I was just fantasizing about George? The busman.
Alright.
Mexican guy, real sweetheart. Everyone loved him. Helpful. Waited on me hand and foot, and I imagine he's still there. Then you go again. Well, he's a conservative and unimaginative man. So I did my best to play a maid in the parlor, a lady in the drawing room, cook in the kitchen, and a whore in the bedroom. Turns my stomach to think I played all those roles right here in this house before Mark was even thinking about being born.
It must be great to enjoy this place without him.
It's really preferable to having to watch my every move. Let's go to the club.
11 a.m. Mark stands by the ruins, smoking a cigar.
Good morning, Mark. No camp today?
Ah, there you are. Welcome back. I only go to camp on weekdays. Today is a Saturday.
Good. There's nothing for you. Follow me. I'm here to send you to your final destination.
How do you know my name?
I overheard. My name's Eric, and I'll be your ghost for the summer.
Who says that? Who says that?
You know. I probably overheard it.
Is it a cliche or a quote from somewhere?
I probably overheard it.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Eric.
I'll do my best to give you a sense of belonging.
Eric leads Mark to the graveyard.
I couldn't help but notice you have 2 women living with you, Mark. And you don't seem to have any brothers or sisters to play with. Did anyone ever sit down and teach you about the birds and the bees?
Are you kidding?
Okay, I'm sure you got basics, but did anybody help you explore the act itself?
You mean like a Kama Sutra class or something like that?
What's that?
It's a Hindu thing concerning interaction between men, women, and eunuchs. That's all in the lesson book.
Don't get exotic on me. I'm talking about something universal. I was thinking about your wanting to be part of a family.
That would be great.
So let's start with the family, the point behind the birds and the bees. A family is a group of people multiplying. A man and a woman, or a eunuch, come together to create another being like them. Therefore,
Family. It's a great feeling of people living and growing together. That's what I wish for.
and here it is.
Eric conjures a vision of couples, man and woman, as they turn doorknobs and exit out of an empty row of brick houses, sweeping their paths, hanging up clothes, and dancing merrily.
See these idiotic sprites.
The sweetness is nauseating. I wish I were in there.
And now comes dusk. The family door closes behind us. We're outsiders, left in the graveyard. The ground beneath us resonating with eerie voices.
I hear them. They're coming from this monument, the Shram Monument. Wow. The Shrams have the biggest monument here.
It's certainly most fearsome.
Imaginary voices support me until they turn against me.
Shh. Just look and listen. Do you know how to be the observer?
Yes. I could get used to this.
Now consider, if you will, the futility and stupidity of all the most selective human interaction. Leave the families to their housing projects and return to our estate. I think there's goose in the freezer.
Eric and Mark return to the house.
Where's Sharon?
Who's Sharon?
It's my mom.
You really call her that?
Well, when she's not around, I do.
Well, your mother and Pam left for lunch at the club while we were outside.
Are you hungry? Can I offer you a cigar?
I'll watch you eat.
Eric?
Yeah.
What's your last name, Eric? Schramm. I thought so. This home is owned by Joseph Schramm.
Forget him. If I were you, the only person I'd be to them about would be me.
I'm thinking about it.
And through me, you'll know everything. Call me your God.
I know my
No,
way.
call me your God. Call me your
We'll
God.
be each other's guys. Come on.
After lunch, Mark endeavored to tour the grounds, the sauna, the Long Island Sound.
That must have been a very beautiful mansion.
Yes.
What happened to it?
It was struck by lightning. Lightning is a very dangerous natural occurrence. It causes about 14 deaths a year in this country.
When was it struck?
Many years ago, when my mother and sisters and our dogs and cats were all inside it. At a moment when we were in this process. That's when it happened.
Your father must have been devastated.
God provided for him a new wife.
Weird. You don't have to stay here. We can walk to the moors if you'd like.
I've seen them, Mark. I know every inch of this property. I've been here since the 20s.
I thought it was me who brought you out.
You do. Without you, I'm just a sliver between the canyons.
And do you return there when I no longer need your companionship? Slithering mist between the wood planks? Crawling between the cracks?
Poetic, but no. I will not, Mark. Once again, I'm not a figure of your imagination. This manifestation is more than a cycle for me. You freed me to go away from here, and I suggest you do the same.
Why me?
Your age matches mine, and we're distant brothers, Mark. Your father is my uncle's great-great-grandson.
I've been keeping something from you.
Me?
Then you didn't consider that I was not a wealthy man before we met.
Really? I never did.
It's true. My mother and I lived in a rental apartment in Great Neck, and often had little or nothing to live on. Fortunately, she married well when she was very young.
When?
Before I was born, I can tell you that. She was an attractive woman.
She still is. And so's her friend. Two very attractive women. The shrimp after father.
I've never met them. My last name is Bianchi, so you see, you and I are not related.
Except in age. Good. It further frees me to do what I want.
Wow. What do you want to do?
I want you to apply everything that I learned about family.
I'm interested.
Commit to me. Follow me, and I'll teach you everything.
Okay.
Which means, Mark, because I can't do it myself, that for our next session, I want you to make up for me to this beautiful woman, Pamela.
Sharon and Pamela returned from lunch.
Hi, Mark. Want some leftovers?
I fixed up some food on my own.
We've just come from the beach club. They're having a young people's dance this evening. Look at this flyer. Tonight, I want you to go to this dance.
That evening, Mark acquires a girl, hanging over him. She is someone he meets at the beach club dance. After the dance is over, he respectfully bids farewell and returns to the lonely estate, where he is, in fact, quite comfortable alone. Turning the ornate little key to the door, his mother still out for the evening with George, and Pamela asleep in a separate wing. The crickets stop chirping, then gradually begin again, but garbled.
Beautiful presence. You hear her breathing? You feel the steam?
No, Eric. I'm reading.
Ah, the master's life. Settling into his tufted chair with the sounds of a symphony to stir his frozen memories. You have no mountains left to climb. You've climbed them all.
That's right. Go away. I can't see you tonight. You're not real.
I suppose you met a girl at the dance. That's a little too ordinary for me. Goodbye.
She was more a plant, actually, a clinging vine. And where did he go? Drat that boy. Eric, please come back.
Do you like socializing with people?
This is the best part of the evening, sitting here by the fire, relaxing, listening to a symphony, chatting with you. I want to first finish this chapter of Pride and Prejudice, and the last movement of Bruckner's Mind.
Oh well, I'm I'm about to drop. I'm going to drag myself about the bog a bit and then collapse in the swamp.
Good night, Eric. Watch out for the water rats.
Oh, you don't go to camp tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Sunday. But you're right, I won't go. None of the kids like me, and I don't fit in.
You'll be able to cross it. Tomorrow I'll teach you from yourself. Sharon Reed's not doing no playing. She's tired. Anything. Maybe in the bedroom.
Bye, Shirley.
party?
What? Oh, yeah, hi Mom. Did you have a nice night?
Oh, it was stressless. I'm still floating on air. I intend to sleep quite late tomorrow. Good night. Who are you talking to just now?
I was just talking to myself. I was having an inner conversation.
It was 5 a.m.
Sometimes the 11th hour occurs well after midnight.
Oh, that's really very clever, Mike. I wish you'd apply your intelligence to something constructive.
Like Shimmy Day Cat?
Mike, will you stop hiding? I enrolled in a very expensive program and I expect you to participate. But I'll expect you.
I don't want to go to your day camp. Shimmy Day Camp.
Oh, you don't like competition?
I don't like competition.
Right. You want to be in the field?
I want to be in a field all my own.
I insist that you go to bed.
Alright. Good night, Mom.
11 a.m. Eric enters Pamela's bedroom, followed by Mark.
Mark, I thought you'd be sleeping. You read the light to me
What do you woke up dreaming about?
I woke up dreaming about you.
How did you dream about me?
Because I want to touch you, hold you, ignore who it is. Concentrate on relaxing. Let the tension inside you give way.
Because I want to be with you. May I sit beside you?
Right. Ow! Be careful, my breasts are tender.
Promise you're no bitches.
I'll be gentle.
What if someone comes in?
No one will come here. Someone is already in here watching over us, if you can believe that.
I believe that God is watching from a distance.
Distance is considerable. There's a stronger force surrounding us that brings us together as one.
Oh. So much tension. Slow down! Oh, that does feel good. Childhood sexuality is the worst thing. When I was young, Father never gave me the time.
It's terrible when you're young to be unacknowledged.
Wow, it's going great. Look how you're both so different. You must get into her being. Then you know how to proceed.
He's so gentle. I push this beautiful boy away from me.
Don't you? She can't believe how seductive you are. You're so masculine.
Seems like I've had so little time all through my life. Maybe that's why I've always been so impatient. I must learn to be patient, or I might frighten her away.
I've had just too much time all through my life. Maybe that's why it seemed to be so unfair. Some things just shouldn't be right.
Seems like we're part of two different worlds in the way we live, more than in just a few things. That means we both have a lot to give, learning how we do things. things, sharing new things.
I've always been alone. Maybe I knew it was time.
I must just let it find me, or it might frighten her away.
Yes, it might frighten me.
If we rush, we may lose what we may have found today.
Pamela and Mark get hot and heavy. When Pamela becomes concerned that Mark will ejaculate inside of her, she pushes him out. She masturbates herself and him. Pamela takes a stroll, her afternoon constitution, upon the lawn outside. Mark watches her from the attic window. Eric appears at the door and leads him to the library.
Come downstairs.
She's a lovely woman. I hope we can do that again.
Did you frighten her away?
No, didn't you see?
There came a point when I stopped watching.
She embraced me.
Different. More distant from me.
I'm spent.
Well, come on, let's run around the grounds for a bit.
Are you crazy? I've retired for the afternoon.
If retirement is what you want, then come. I'll show you one of the treasures that you see. The hidden pleasure dome.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Of course there is. Come on.
Let the sun comfort you. It will keep you safe and warm, always shining through. Share the joy. All the lovely songs you will hear, these we all hold dear. At the same time, all the grandest things we possess, these we value less. So many small things can bring happiness. Love is in all things. Flowers bloom, people grow. You may never want to leave when it's time to go. Share the joy. Mountains rise, mountains fall. You have nothing more to prove. You have climbed them all. Now you're here. May you stay and share the joy.
Wow. How ornate.
The pleasure dome soaks in the warmth of a peaceful sun.
Is this yours?
Yes, you're safe here. Such exotic creatures. Woodland creatures. We specialize in the simple things. At last I see the majesty of the ghost world. See it not with my eyes, but through yours. I'm in a state of nirvana. Okay, let's visit my parents. At last. Hi, Mom! Just in from the brothel. Any food on the table? Of course there is. This is my friend Mark.
Hello. Hey, I'm tired. May I go to bed?
Sure. Leave the dishes on the table. The bed's made.
Such nice parents.
This is the servant family. My parents were servants to their children.
Where's your father?
My father's out.
I thought you were so independent. I didn't realize your family was here on the grounds for you.
Of course. I go out on my own. I leave them here. My family's always nearby. Come, I'll introduce you to them. This is how they were before I frightened them away.
You have such a nice family.
Such happiness can't last. I froze the perfect moment.
I especially love your pets. Your white cat has the most beautiful, flexible vertebrae.
She likes you too. How do you feel?
Serene. Insulated.
Is the word sin?
No. Does it mean anything to you? Don't answer that.
Eric leaves the room.
Eric, where are you? My friend is gone. I'm all alone here. Who are these people? I don't know them. I must call him. Where is he? Help! Come back!
I'm here.
I can't handle your being away. Please don't let it happen again.
See you later.
Mark finds his way back to the estate and meets Pamela in her bedroom.
Where are you going?
I don't know, but I'm packing.
I'll watch. Why are you leaving?
To stay one step ahead of the law.
What law?
The one against sex with a minor.
Oh, I won't tell.
But I can't keep my mouth shut.
Well, what if I go instead? You be my mother's son.
Mark, you appear to be alone, but you speak like there's someone else. May I ask who's influencing you?
Right now I'm alone. I can't talk about it. It only makes me want to go deeper into it. I made a commitment and I must follow it.
We're a study in contrasts, and yet for a moment we came together as one.
That was really thanks to you, Pam.
I know, but can there be a relationship between us? Tell me, what do you prefer? Participation or contemplation?
I prefer contemplation.
I prefer participation.
We're different.
Difference is necessary.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
You're inventive, and no one recognizes it except you.
I have an inner life.
We're studying contrast, and it isn't only our ages. I bet you like sitting in a dark theater watching a movie.
Sure, if there was a movie theater on the estate.
Personally, I would rather hear the sounds of nature than listen to the pastoral symphony. Can you understand that?
It doesn't matter where I live, whether in a two-room apartment or a mansion. I want to hear the symphony.
It's a substitute, a representation of the real thing. I love the ocean.
I love the warmth of family that I found in the Pleasure Dome.
That must be part of the inner life you mentioned. What kind of family lives in the Pleasure Dome?
They're forgiving and tolerant, and there when you need them and elsewhere when you don't.
Well, we can all use more of that. Still, I don't think a relationship between us can work. I love participation.
I love the picture of participation.
We're so different.
You just don't know what's out there.
Believe me.
I love the world of sweet music. Imagine, sounds rich enough to stimulate the taste buds.
It's too rich for my taste. Tell me, what about the physical intimacy between us? It had no foundation. If you like a woman, can you think of something more to do with her? Sex is not the final goal.
Who said it was? Hey, forget it. Let's go dance.
Dancing? That's more like it.
Take over, Pamela. Be my mother's son.
Under whose influence are you falling? I want someone who appreciates me for my abilities. I have a lot to offer.
I'm sure you do.
While they dance, Eric reappears.
You really are stupid. How could you have done that with me? How did it feel?
Don't you know?
No.
It felt good without making me even a little happy.
So you mustn't do it again.
But I will because it feels good.
That's the first stupid thing you said since we met.
I'm a human being, which is animal, not pure spirit like you.
Do you like being a human being?
I have no choice.
I have a choice as a ghost. Do you want to be like me?
Yes, but what are your choices?
I can choose joy or morbidity, disaster or good fortune.
I can choose dancing like an idiot. I wish you never showed me the pleasures of the flesh. How can you possibly resolve this contradiction?
You mean this contraction? It resolves itself in the way of all flesh. Have children. That's the only reason your body can stimulate you into mindless intercourse.
Oh, that's great. Reproducing my unhappiness will make me completely unhappy.
Self-pitying fool. Remember how wonderful it is to be part of a family?
You were never so happy as just before the fire, waiting for your father to come home.
Instead, my mother and my sister and I died. It's always most beautiful before it's most forever.
I know. Everything was perfect, and then lightning struck.
So come with me.
The dancing stops.
Okay, I really like you, Eric.
Turn and face me.
I don't want to do anything to displease you. What do you want me to do?
It's not what... It's what I don't want you to do with others. I don't mind what you do alone.
What's that?
Look, I provide the answers, then you ask the questions. The sooner you learn to do that, the better.
Pamela sits with Mark in the library.
Mark, look at me. What's calling you away?
He doesn't like when I do this. Someday I want to have sex again, if only with myself.
Sharon enters.
Mark, do you like it here?
Yeah.
You seem worried. Do you want to leave here?
No, I want to stay.
I have a surprise for you. I went to the North Shore Animal Shelter today and look who I brought home!
Oh, cool!
Sharon lets in the dog to bark about the house. Mark plays with the dog. Eric also befriends the dog. A week later, the animal's carcass is laying upon the rocks beneath the cliffs of the Sound, joining the remains of a multitude of other pets, cats, dogs, hamsters, and gerbils.
It's a deep cliff.
It was his choice.
It was an accident. Old Rover must have tripped.
No, see these paw prints? It was a leap.
I understand. I know everything now. I want to teach people. It's my turn.
Sharon sits at her writing desk, composing a letter. Mark, pretending to read, sits somewhere between her and Eric.
Dear Joseph, Mark refuses to attend camp. He has shorn his hair and shows himself to be reluctant in daily interaction. I was concerned he'd fall into a relationship with a jaded fellow in Great Neck. Now it's as if the same thing has happened here. Yet as far as I can tell, he's alone most of the time.
Pamela enters with the morning mail.
Hey, Sharon. There's a letter here from your ex-husband.
I'm just writing to him. What does it say?
I open it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dear Sharon, Due to circumstances beyond my control, I have recovered. I am returning to Seacliff in order to prepare it for new tenants. You must be gone by September 1st. Joseph.
I had a feeling something like this would happen. Good thing I kept up the rent payments in our apartment in Great Neck.
There's more. Sharon, you should be very proud of your son. Mark is a malleable boy with tremendous willpower. Other boys his age have not fared as well in the Schramm house in Seacliff. One in particular, my great-great-granduncle died there in the Great Fire of 1926 when he was only 13, and legend has it awaits the arrival of another boy his age to free him from the floorboards to join the spare war. Naturally, my parents shipped me to boarding school at the first sign of puberty. It may sound like nonsense, but nonetheless, you might want to ask your son if he knows anyone by the name of Eric.
That's why Joseph invited us here. He wanted to clear the place of ghosts so we could rent it.
Yes, that does explain things. Mark, who's Eric?
Eric is my filter to the outside world.
Nurture your spiritual life over the summer and come back prepared to share.
This explains why Mark has become such a know-it-all.
I will teach the children all that I've learned in my many years.
You don't know anything, you're only 13.
Yes, but I'm precocious.
Oh, I know. Pamela told me all about the new Mark.
I've made you tired of life and appreciative of my spirituality.
The Holy Ghost inspired me to pounce.
I should have never introduced it to you.
I suppose not, Eric. It really throws a curve on the conclusion that life sucks.
Sucks? Are you joking with me? That's it. Tomorrow's my last day.
No, wait, don't go. Eric!
We've got to stop him.
We can't stop what has already happened. Mark is far too involved for us to interfere, and I'm not planning on placing him under constant supervision.
August 24th. Mark spends the night at Eric's place. Eric's family welcomes Mark with open arms as the hour nears 11 p.m.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your kindness. This is the most beautiful place in the world. Where am I? This is unfamiliar ghost territory. Eric, are you there? It's all too rich and ghastly. Too much sugar. In this palace, shall I be Eric's brother, join his family? What could be wrong with that? I can't stay here. The end is near. They don't realize what's coming for them. What is coming for them? This is how it will always stay, perfect. Yet it's not so long as it exists in time. The fire. There's no storm outside. How did the fire start?
One cool summer's night, I climbed up to the roof with a keg of kerosene and poured it down the chimney.
That wasn't very nice. Why did you do that?
'Cause I'm a ship. Everything was perfect. I knew they would never be as happy as they were then. My father was coming home to tell us that he no longer loved us and he wanted to leave us. I thought it was best.
I'm really sorry you never had sex, Eric. Would have been a stabilizing force in your life. So that's it. Everyone went up in a poof of smoke, but you weren't in the house. What do we do now?
It's the next morning. We go to the field overlooking Seacliff.
That's where I lost my dog.
Here we are. What's all this festivity?
It's a fireman's carnival. Come on, let's take a ride on the Ferris wheel.
Then run off the edge of the cliff. Ah, the good life can't last.
11 a.m. After a ride on the Ferris wheel, Eric abandons Mark. Mark runs to the end of the cliff looking for him and realizes that Eric has jumped off and that Mark is unable to follow without himself becoming a ghost. Mark stands on a mound in the graveyard, adjacent to the Seacliff estate, overlooking where all the bodies are buried.
My life was suspended until death came calling. Now in the stillness of suspension, as the suspense continues, On to other matters, beginning with attending to the business of the day.
Mark stands at the edge of the cliff, Ferris wheels behind him, yelling out to the sea.
Where are you? Where are you, Eric?
Yes, I fantasized about him as a child. Funny, I haven't thought about him in years. The end.
Beginning and nobody knows where the truly ends. Everything depends on where you are in the circle that's in the circles. La la la, la 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 la. And just because you think you're small, that doesn't mean that you're small at all. And just the way a tiny branch is like a tree to a twig, to someone else you are big. The world is a circle without a beginning, and nobody knows where it really ends. Whoa, everything depends on where you are in the circle that's spinning around. Half of the time we are upside down. La la, la 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 la. And just because they say you're weak, that doesn't mean you've a weak physique. And even if they're partly right, at least they're partially wrong. To someone else you are strong. And just because they say you're slow, that doesn't mean that you're slow, you know. And even if you're never first, compared to someone who's last, make sure to think you are fast. The world is a circle without a beginning, and nobody knows where it really ends. Oh, everything depends on where you are in the circle that never begins. Nobody knows where the circle ends. La la la, la la la. The world is a circle that never begins. Nobody knows where the circle ends.
That's Toby Goodshank, Cockroach, Kimya Dawson, Abby Todress, Abby Salt. Thanks, great. That's the 11th hour. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a very happy New Year coming up. I'm Peter DeZosa. See you soon. We have a mailing list if you'd like to sign. Thank you very much, guys. The reason this exists, well, seeing Toby and Cockroach sing together. I hope it happens often. And of course, fantastic individual performers. Look for Kimya and Abby and in guitar situations. Abby, Kimya Dawson. Well, just go to Virgin Megastore and you'll find their record on the Moldy Peaches. Okay, thanks everybody. Good night. I'm Peter DeZosa, the 11th hour. Thanks for staying. Thank you very much.
Close at the 11th hour, everybody. I'm gonna take this moment.
Let me take this moment to pass around the mandolin. This is how the artists on stage will be getting paid tonight. Suggested donation is $5, but please try to give as much as you can.